Welcome to Too Old, Too New, the music discovery podcast that brings you something old, something new, something Nate, something Bruce. I'm Nate Runkle, host of the Yo, That's My Jawn podcast, and with me, as always, is my good friend Bruce Warren from WXPN.
Yo.
The premise of this show is simple. Each week, we bring you two songs apiece. One new song that has been metaphorically spinning our turntable platters, and one old song that we believe still absolutely matters. Oh, yes. What is up?
What is up is what's down. What can I tell you? Here's what's up. We have some great music this week, but Nate, it wasn't until a couple hours after we decided on our picks that we got the news that the boss, Bruce Springsteen, has new old music coming out tomorrow, Tracks 2, and I am so fucking excited. Apparently, have you heard about this yet?
No.
Okay.
This is news to me.
Yeah. So yesterday, everybody thought it was an April Fool's joke. He posted something like on his IG, what was once lost is now found, and it was on sort of like one of those pieces of paper that you see like in a studio where the rundown, like bands, write their instruments and that kind of shit. So I know there's an official name for that, but I'm not a studio guy. So like that kind of studio guy. So rumors were hot this morning, and today, it's not 100% official yet, but I think the PR is going out tomorrow. But previously unreleased 7 albums on this box set called Tracks 2.
7 albums?
And 7 previously unreleased of material from 7 previously done albums, like shit that like has been sitting in the vaults for years.
Do we know a timeline? Do we know, or is this just a career
there's
spanning?
There's rumor has it there's a song coming tomorrow, one song, but I don't know anything else other than that. So, what can I tell you? I'm just very excited.
That's unbelievable. If that song comes out tomorrow, where might someone hear that? Like on a radio dial or something?
Well, we will definitely be playing it on WXPN.
Yeah,
that is for sure.
I
That is for sure. Because there are no other rock stations in Philadelphia that will play the new Bruce Springsteen record. They'll play the shit out of Born to Run, maybe, but what can I tell you? We are your boss authority.
That's true. I will co-sign that. I will co-sign that. That's exciting, man. It's funny you mentioned April Fool, it coming out yesterday, because like April 1st, I refuse to listen to any news whatsoever because I'm like, fuck you, you're not fooling me. And God damn it, last night I got caught and I fell for one. And it was the dumbest fucking thing in the world, and I don't know why I fell for it. But I will share it with you, and I will share it with our listeners. There was an article that Trey Anastasio from Phish was doing an acoustic duo release with Cher, and it was going to be called Sharing in the Groove. And I fucking fell for it, hook, line, and I was like, oh, fuck, man. I was like, this will be interesting. And then like I realized what day it was, and I was like, God damn it.
That's very funny. That's very funny.
Yeah. Well,
oh my God! All right, so you're gonna start out the show this week.
I
right?
am. I'm going to start with my something new,
Okay.
and I'm going to go right into the track, and then I'll come back and we'll talk about it. It's a new band. They're called Cinnamon. Which kids, I just want to bring everybody in real quick. It's 2025. SEO is crazy. You got to help me out with names sometimes, because like it's hard to search for one word names. If you search for Too Old, Too New, and you put no spaces between the too old and the too new, like you make it one word, like how it is in the logo, guess what comes up? Us, nothing else, because SEO matters. Anyway, sorry. It's my old man, young man rant. Yeah. But anyway, the band's called Cinnamon. I'll tell you who's in it after we listen to a little bit. This is the first single they released. There's also a music video available for it. It's called Star, and check this out. Oh, guitars, my favorite guitars.
Whoa.
Dude, we are so back. The 90s are so back. Like, it's like everybody's making music for me. I'm so excited. There's so much stuff. So Cinnamon is a 3-piece. It's Nick Morrison, Luke Mays, and then the female, the young woman singing lead on this is Harley Quinn Smith. That's Kevin Smith's daughter.
No way.
Yeah. She's also
The Kevin Smith, who I'm thinking of
that's right.
Kevin Smith.
Writer director Kevin Smith, also the Silent Bob of the JN Silent Bob. That's
Yeah.
his daughter.
Wow.
Yeah, she's been doing music for a while. She was in another band called the 10th, and they are fucking awesome. Go check out a song called "I Will Not Make Any Boring Art." It's fucking great. But yeah, so they put this band together. They've now released 2 singles. I think the other one just came out like 4 days ago. I forget the name of it. But I'm absolutely, I love it so much because, like I said, like this kind of sonic resurgence of everything that I loved from when I was in my teens and in my 20s is kind of coming back in the forefront. Guitars again, and I do have to give 2 shouts out with this song. One, Harley's mother, Jen Schwalbach Smith, just celebrated a birthday this week. Happy birthday to Jen. And also Harley and her boyfriend, Austin Azor, who's also a actor, just got engaged.
That's exciting.
Yeah, so congrats. So a new band, new music, and a new life. It's a big year for Harley Quinn Smith.
That's exciting. You're like the fucking People magazine of indie rock.
Hey, well, you know what? Oh, God damn it! I want that on my name tag for non-com or whatever. I just the People magazine
You're
of
like,
indie rock.
Like what? You left me in the dust. By the way, is it shouts out or shout out?
So it's both. Okay, I picked up shouts out from Chuck Treese and G Love, the closing track on Philadelphia, Mississippi, and I like it because why would you pluralize the outs? It's kind of like attorneys general, right? Because what you're pluralizing the shouting, not the outing, right?
That is true. Thank you. I'm glad I asked.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. There we go.
See, ordinarily, like people, Nate, you and I have such a great relationship. I can ask you that question just straight up, very objectively. Like, but most people would be like, "What the fuck? You're being critical of me, huh?"
Right. Yeah. No, I'll take an autocorrect.
That's why I like talking to you, Nate. You're a good dude.
Hey, you too.
Wow. So Kevin Smith's okay. That was, you know what? It's very, it's reminiscent of a lot of things, but it sounds kind of fresh, and that's why I dug the little that I've heard. And the first band was called the Tents.
The 10th,
like
TENTH.
TENTS.
I
guess their music wasn't that great because they folded.
Jesus.
Sorry.
No, it's good. I like it. But no, yeah. Check that out. I'm waiting to see if they're doing an EP or an album or if they're just doing singles. I don't know
really
what the
cool.
future. But yeah, exciting stuff there. And also, her and Kevin have a podcast together called Beardless Dickless Me, and it's on the iHeart network. So be on the lookout for that as well.
All right. Well, that's exciting. So I had a fun experience Monday night. I went to New York, Bushwick, specifically to see the band Wet Leg, rock and roll band from the Isle of Wight, who like blew up 2-3 years ago, right? What was it, 22? With,
something like that.
With Chase Long. And it's very exciting. They are back. They are so fucking back. It was ridiculous how back they were at the show. I kind of forgot they won a bunch of Grammys for this record, but they really they blew up, not in the most blown up kind of way, but they blew the fuck up. And they played. So they have a new record. News broke yesterday. New record come in July. It's called Moisturizer. They released a new song yesterday. It's called Catch These Fists, and that's what we're going to hear. And they actually opened up their 12-song set at the Market Hotel in Bushwick with this song, and it was boiling. It was beautiful. It was rock and roll. Rhiannon and Hester were incredible. Now Hester's kind of playing a bit of a back role in the band now, and in fact, such a back role that for a good chunk of the show, she played with their back to the audience, or sort of off back-ish, not 100, not like the time I saw Miles Davis at the Irvine Auditorium, where he completely played with his back to the audience, but off to the side. And it's all about Rhiannon now, and man, undeniably a rock star. So let's listen to this new song and let's rock.
On my way
I don't want your love. I just want to fight. They
Hell
just
yeah.
came out smoking, played for 40 minutes. It was perfect. It was exactly what I needed, and it's interesting when this band came out, um, when they released their debut album. Almost everybody I know it was like instantly drawn to this record. Were you a fan of the first record?
I was a huge fan. And that was actually when you picked this, I was very excited because this is something I've been wanting to understand or better understand. And I don't know if you have a beat on it or whatnot, but I have never in my life, or at least anytime recently in recent memory, experienced something as polarizing as that first single, Chaise Long. And I don't know why. It makes no sense to me. I fucking loved it. And I even understand not getting it or not being into it, but like people hated it. And I don't know like what the disconnect is because like I mean we've talked about it and the listeners have heard me gush about it forever, but girls and guitars like that's a sonic sound that like just rocks for me. Like I love it so much, but I'd never understood what the polarization was. Like it was a hard line. Either you liked it or you didn't, and there wasn't middle ground.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Very few people. Actually, I didn't know anybody who was middle ground, and I actually didn't really know too many people who didn't like it. Because it was so original and it was so fresh, and it just drew on so
Yeah.
much of great, particularly across the pond, across the pond influence and inspiration. Clearly this does not sound like a quote unquote broadly defined an American band the first time you hear them. It's like this is a band not from America. But I just love the show, and I cannot wait to see them play a more proper show. This was like a super fan thing. It was like a whole bunch of industry people were there, and I haven't gone to like a lot of these industry things in a while. I still go out a shit ton, as you know, but I forgot how hard, what kind of hard work it is just to be around people in the music industry. So for 5 hours, 6 hours, had a blast though, and it was super fun. So I'm really glad I went with a couple of my colleagues from the station, and we had a blast. So new wet leg, and I cannot wait to hear the rest of the album.
That's awesome. That's what I was going to ask. What like how many new songs did they play? A lot
They
or
played at least 5 or 6 new songs. Ones that I didn't have the set list, so I went on to setlist.com, and it looks like they played a good 7 or 8 songs were new songs. I know the last song they closed with, which I think is also going to be a big song, is a song called CPR. And there's videos of the show. It was at Market Hotel for those who want to look for it. There's some great videos, and they were all dressed sort of in white, and it was just a cool fucking night of rock and roll. So there you
awesome.
go.
That's what I like to
You
hear.
need those every once in a while.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I like to hear. Like, it's been a common theme, for every conversation I've had, about, kind of the state of music and stuff like that. But I always feel really strongest about, we're going to be okay whenever I'm at like a live show surrounded by people who also love what I'm experiencing. You know what I mean?
Totally
Like
up. Totally right on.
there is no better feeling of
Yeah.
that kind of communal,
Yeah.
I think back to, we talked about it, but I've talked about this show so much. That Fontaine's DC show down in the basement at the World Cafe last
Mhm.
year for non-com
Mhm.
was just something special because like the energy in that room, like of people, you could feel people becoming fans of the band by the
Mhm.
end of the that may
Oh,
have just
totally.
been
Yeah.
passing or whatnot, myself included. I
Yeah.
dug them beforehand, but afterwards I was ready to lead the charge for them.
Yeah, yeah. Totally agree. Rock and roll, love it.
Hell
So,
yeah.
what do you got? What do you got coming up? You playing any gigs? You on any shows? What do you got going on?
This month is April. No, but I started the bookings for the summer have started to come through. I got a bunch of dates. Well, I'm really excited because so most of the time when I play out, for anybody who's never experienced it, I play with one of my best friends, Scott Miller. He plays drums, but he plays plays a cajon when we go out, and we do like this
Mhm.
kind of acoustic-y kind of thing, but he can't make it to every single gig that we play.
Oh.
And like I kind of miss having that beat behind me because I like to get into it a little bit.
Mhm.
So what I did recently was I built myself a suitcase kick drum so that I can do the one man band thing. And
No way.
yeah, man, it's super cool. Like I'm just putting on the finishing touches on it. I'll send you a picture of it. But like it's so cool. Like to at least just have that kick behind me while I'm playing and
Mhm.
kind of keep the beat. But it is making me realize that my brain is or my leg when I play is so animated and bouncing all over the place that I have to be a little more mindful of it now because
Right.
everyone can hear every sound that tap will make.
Right.
So sometimes when I'm like when I'm getting into it like like on a good rhythm, especially on my original stuff, which kind of has like a hip hop feel to it, I got to stop that leg from bouncing because
Right.
otherwise the drum's just going
Isn't there isn't
bananas.
there an isn't there an artist called like the One Man Suitcase something or other?
Is there? I'll tell you what,
There is.
I stole this idea like when and it came last year at the Exponential Music Festival. Shout out to your hat. When Shaky Graves performed and he had his suitcase kick,
Well,
and I
I
was
know
like,
Shakey's got the suitcase. He's
I took a picture and a video, and I was like, I want
all
one.
right. There you go.
So I made one.
The world needs more suitcase
As a
junkie
matter of fact, right next
musicians.
here's the other half of the drum that I cut. It's literally sitting right next to me.
That's just
Yeah.
that's pretty funny. What's your T-shirt, your sweatshirt or whatever it is
This
stand
is
for?
the I made this. It's the Fort Washington disc golf course.
Ah, okay.
Fort Washington State Park. I
Mhm.
was one of the people who helped kind of renovate and redesign the disc golf course over there back in
Ah, okay.
2017. It used to be a 9-hole object pole course, and we installed baskets, built it out, and now like man, they do such good work over there. I haven't done work since the pandemic over there, but a great group over there. If anybody is ever looking for some disc golf fun, check out Fort Washington State Park.
All
Yeah.
right. All right.
What you got any shows on the horizon you're looking forward to or
Probably many, but I can't remember what they are off the top.
yeah.
I'm psyched to see Dawes next week. And um, I know there's something else. I know I have like 2 shows next week, one of which is Dawes, but I can't remember the other one. But yeah, it's coming up to that season, man. May is really gonna start, I think, May, June, July, August, September, like 4 months of at least 1 show a week, at least. And some multiple. So, yeah, there's great stuff. I'm really psyched for Alabama Shakes reunion to see that show.
Yes.
You know,
Did you see the Hold Steady announcement the
yeah, I
weekend?
saw that. Like, there's another. I want to go to at least one of those 3 shows they announced in Philly, 2 at the Brooklyn Bowl and 1 at the Foundry, and I want to go to at least one of those shows. So, I have like a calendar, handwritten list of all the concerts that I go to, that I want to go to, and then I just sort of, pair that up against my real life and work schedule, and then I kind of make some decisions. So
Yeah. Yeah.
everybody has it figured out. So I'm going to jump into my old because I kind of, the first time I heard Wet Leg, they immediately reminded me of the early to mid '90s band, British band Elastica. Were you familiar with Elastica when they were a thing?
I was. What did I say? Girls, guitars. That's me. That's
Yeah. So Justine Frischman was the leader of the band, and I remember it was Justine and Justin. Justin was the drummer. They both came from the band Suede, and Elastica's debut album was a game-changing record for a lot of music fans. It was post-punk, it was punk, it was rock and roll. It drew on all these incredible influences. It was definitely UK-ish, right? Again, my point about this was not an American rock and roll band. They're a British rock and roll band. So for my old, when I heard them, well, when I heard Wet Leg, it was like, this is kind of reminds me of Elastica. And it was funny because the first time Elastica played in Philly, they played at the Khyber Pass, and it was fucking packed, packed, packed. And I was with my wife, and we were leaning against, for those of you who remember the old Khyber Pass where they used to do shows, there was a cigarette machine kind of on the right side of the room. And I remember we were pressed up against that cigarette machine. And I think my wife still has a mark from, like, the thing you used to pull to get the cigarettes out on the side. It was such a fantastically fun, like, you go to shows sometimes and you go, what the fuck am I experiencing? And it is unbelievably amazing. And that's what it was like seeing Elastica for the first time. And I'm going to play this song from their album, self-titled, I think. This is Connection. So this is clearly a case of, if you like Wet Leg, you will very much like Elastica. Now, here's a note about this, an important note about this song, because I'd look like a fucking moron if I didn't bring this up. This song starts with a pattern that was very, very similar to another band called Wire's song called Three Girl Rumba. And if you put them up next to each other, they kind of sort of sound the same. Well, anyway, there was a lawsuit, and they settled out of court. But I thought I'd mention that, even though they probably ripped off, the intro and some of the patterns from Three Girl Rumba, from Wire's, that Wire song, Elastica's record is amazing, and Connection is just like a fucking, like, plug it in and it just electrifies. So there you go. That's my old for the week.
It electrifies. I like what you did there. It's you mentioning the settling out of court. I don't know why it just made me think of what was it? Wild Wild West and Elvis
God
Costello,
damn.
and you know what I mean? Like, yeah,
That's right. And that's my cat. Hey, Salsa. Fuck Salsa. Salsa's looking for food right now. There you go.
I see it.
Don't worry, Nate. We don't have to pay him anything to appear on the podcast.
Oh, thank God.
All right.
We'll send him a merch pack.
So you got a cool thing too.
I do. My old pick. So this past week was the 30th. It's too many years. 30th anniversary of the release of the first Wilco album, AM. You guys were playing a bunch off of it. I heard a bunch all over the place. And like I've had Wilco on the mind. My wife and I, while we eat dinner, we listen to vinyl. And so because we're always like jumping around and we're like, what do you want to listen to? I don't know. We decided to just kind of go in order of every vinyl that we own.
Wow.
And so we're on this one shelf, and it's completely unrelated to the anniversary of AM. We just went through Being There and Summer Teeth. So it's been a Wilco week for me.
That's awesome.
And also celebrating a 30th anniversary is the debut full-length album from Golden Smog, which was the supergroup that featured Jeff Tweedy as well as Gary Louris and Mark Perlman from the Jayhawks. It had Dan Murphy from Soul Asylum and Craig Johnson from Run Westy Run. And
great band, by the way. Great,
amazing, right?
Band.
Oh my God, I love them so much.
Right.
Down by the Mainstream was a friend of mine was working at the college radio station when we were in college together, my roommate, and he came home with it. And it was the first promo CD that I stole from a radio station ever. And because the second I heard it, I was like, this album's incredible. And like, this was pre me being into Uncle Tupelo, Jeff Tweedy, Wilco. I actually came into it Golden Smog first, and it wasn't, so then like, researching everything outward from that is actually how I found Uncle Tupelo, and then eventually got to Wilco and whatnot. But one of the songs on the album that where the title of the album comes from, Down by the Old Mainstream, that always stuck with me was the song Radio King, which is a Jeff Tweedy sung and written track. And it's absolutely beautiful. So in honor of the 30th anniversary of Down by the Old Mainstream, I thought I'd bring my favorite song from it. This is Radio King.
In the street.
Yeah.
Great.
There's
Great.
something that Jeff can harness whenever he wants to, whenever he's in the mood, that is like this kind of wistful lament in music that just strikes me right to my core, and that like is a perfect example of that kind of feeling that I love.
So were you? I know they put out 3 albums, right? I think.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They had a couple in the '90s, and then they waited till like early aughts or something like that.
Yeah,
But
I
were
think
you
'05
what was the
somewhere
name?
around
Weird Tales. Was that
Weird
was the name of
Tales,
the
yeah.
second record?
That was the one follow up.
Were you more of a Weird Tales guy, or were you a Down by the Old Mainstream guy?
I think I was more of a down by the old mainstream guy, but I think mostly just because like I obsessed over that album when it came out, and there's stuff on there that just like the Ronnie Lane Faces cover, Glad and Lonely or Glad and Sorry is on there. That absolutely
Oh, that's
owns me.
right.
Yeah,
Oh
man.
man.
They're great at picking covers. I will also have to say that they do an incredible cover of Bad Company's Shooting Star. And the reason I mention that, look at me tying it together, that song featured on the soundtrack to a film called Clerks, written and directed by Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith.
I'm always
they do a
working on
version
levels.
they cover Bad Company?
Yeah, Shooting Star. Oh, it's so good.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's from their first EP on Golden Smog.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there was a record store release of that.
You know,
last year or something, 2 years.
I've known a guy, great guy named Paul Dickman, used to work for Ryko Disc back in the day. And he was at Ryko when I think Golden Smog signed with him. And I remember I saw a couple amazing shows, a couple amazing Golden Smog shows. And when I was with Paul, and so I kind of, every time I hear or think about Golden Smog, I think about Paul, who's still very active in the music world and just brings back great memories. So a good pick, though, Nate. Good pick.
Thank you. You as well, man. These are these songs, these beautiful picks, of course, will always live on our Spotify playlist. This thing's getting massive. I don't know the last time you threw it on, but like with the weather getting better and you throw that bad boy on shuffle, you go for a ride. We have curated some great music, and you can find that playlist in the show notes, which of course are listed here. You can also find Bruce and I on the socials. He's at Some Velvet Blog. I'm at Yo, That's My Jawn. You can find us on Substack, where you might be watching this. Subscribe to both of us on there. We got cool takes. Bruce is always sharing great music over there, and I'm always acting like a whore and selling all of my podcasts.
At least you're upfront about it, Nate.
Hey,
That's
man,
what I love about you.
look. There's a gentleman whose name I won't ever use again, but I remember one time him saying that he was his biggest fan because if he didn't love himself, how could he expect anybody else to? And I was
Exactly.
like, fuck right, man. You know what I mean? Like, I do all this for me. I just like to listen to myself. I'm shameless about it. I ain't got nothing to hide. But yeah, so we'll be back again. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, tell all your friends, and we'll catch you next time. Bruce, thanks.
Yes. And Salsa says goodbye.
Bye, Salsa.
Come on, hang with me, Bruce. Too old, too new, we're the truth. Come on, hang with me, Bruce. Too old, too new, we're the truth.